Dale the Bullgryn and his misadventures in Lupercalia, Part 3. Previously, Dale had encountered some Kasrkins after falling out of a Thunderhawk. After sitting down and discussing, Sergeant and Ross decided it would be best if Dale joined them in the meantime, pursuing undetailed objectives. They now approached the service tunnels of Lupercalia, which seemed to be endless in length. Dale and the Kasrkins begin their march. As Dale entered the service tunnel, the sergeant reattached her helmet. Dale would have to try very hard to remember which one of the Kasrkins was Aurora's. The most prominent feature was her chainsword that hung from her hip.
Careful. The cultists could have laid traps. Dale, you focus on what's in front of you. Rolf will tell you where to turn.
Yes, ma'am.
The sergeant chuckled. Rolf gave a quick look, which could only be interpreted as a roll of the eyes. The squad of Kasrkins pushed on, a lengthy march ahead. Dale kept his shield slightly lowered, as even he would need to conserve his strength for when the fight would eventually pick up. It was a fair 20 minutes into the march when Dale heard a click. He put out an arm to stop Rolf, which consecutively stopped the squad. Rolf stared at him as if he were insulted. He looked at the sergeant, to which Aurora's returned a wait signal. Dale's nose twitched, attuning to some scent. It was important to understand that what Ogryns lacked in intellect made up in their capabilities of survival. With another sniff, the Ogryn pointed up to the ceiling, a modest teal glow teeming alongside the strains of the vent.
There!
Rolf hastily aimed his hail gun towards the covering of the ventilation shaft. He squeezed the trigger once. Turquoise fluid spilled out from between the rims of the vent, sizzling from the extreme heat. Aurora made no comment, as she and the rest of the squad paid close attention to their surroundings. The smell of the service tunnels soon came rancid with the burning flesh of whatever they shot in the vents. Fortunately, Dale was used to worse, and fortunately even more for the Kasrkins, they bore filtration systems. The squad advanced in tandem, with Dale in point. Sounds distant in some farther lengths of the tunnel, echoing to their part, either screams or lasgun fire that was too far for any of the members to realistically deal with. Suddenly, the squad heard a crash. The hatch over the vent where the creature was shot gave away, and the corpse of a gene stealer splattering along the ground. At a glance, there was a noticeably sized hole between the eyes of the bastardized human.
Lucky shot, Rolf.
Rolf shook his head. Dale glanced at the corpse.
Bad bug people.
All of a sudden, a long-legged scythe swung at Dale, the sergeant crying out to him.
Dale, look out!
The Ogryn braced his shield upwards, rebutting a melee. Another claw trying to swipe at him from the side, which he dodged, holding the heavy slab shield in place. The claw clanked on the interior, as if fingers under a door trying to reach for something. Dale took his opportunity, reaching for the base of the blade. He gripped a fleshy appendage and yanked as hard as he could with one arm while pushing the shield with the other. The air sprayed blue with bad bug blood as the bad bug person writhed in pain, shrieking uncontrollably. Rolf countered from the other side and pierced it with an identical hole to the previous gene stealer.
Clever bastards, taking advantage of every moment.
The sergeant was interrupted by the sounds of clittering and clattering, echoes becoming louder every second.
Dale, 10th, move!
Dale slung his shield on his back, as he preferred his cudgel power maul in these instances.
Right, Dale. Right.
Shouted Rolf as he pointed to his right, firing off hellgun fire into the ambushed swarm of Tyranid cultists. As Dale barreled down the cramped hallway, he eyed the door, a mere 100-foot sprint. He halted forward, power maul in hand. Just then, an advanced mutation of a cultist dropped from another vent, its claws marked for the Ogryn's throat. Dale's maul blitzed forward. His thrust reached further than the swing of the cultist. The kinetic impact was severe enough to have serrated the collarbone to its neck, its corpse haphazardly thrown to the side of the corridor, as Kasrkins trampled over it. As Dale neared the door, he smashed it open, the steel bending, cracking, and whining to the intense impact of the 9-foot Ogryn's boot strength and power maul. It encased it on impact, twining itself along the length of the maul. The Bullgryn swung it back, releasing the deformed steel backwards off his maul. Private Prowse felt a claw penetrate the rear calf of his carapace armor, a sickly azure edge making limited contact with his leg. Prowse fell to the ground, wrestling his momentum to pin his rear on the ground as he dauntlessly kicked the monstrosity in the face, dazing it for only a second. He spent the precious moment to aim his weapon, before a warped slab of steel abruptly splattered the mass, raining teal blood along his armor. The mass roughly resembled a steel door. The private now sprung back onto his feet, sprinting to the doorway, with which only a few other Hellguns gave covering fire from. Dale had unknowingly saved the life of Private Prowse. Aurora smirked behind her helmet, continuing to rattle off more rounds with her Hell pistol. As they managed to get in the doorway, Dale slammed his shield into the floor, crumbling some of the paneling. Four of the Kasrkins used the slotting between his shield as gun ports, melting the horde away with their hotshot lasguns. What was once a kept corridor, decorated with maintenance electric panels and smooth steel frames, was painted turquoise with Xenos blood, burnished with the entrails of the cultists. It returned once more to being the quiet service tunnel it was before.
Excellent work, 10th and Dale.
Dale grinned at the praise. The room presented itself with a massive stairwell, capable of fitting the width of a trio of Ogryn to comfortably walk down. Aurora sauntered over to the railing, looking up, a twisted mess of steel and concrete crushing itself in the gap of the floors, obstructing anyone from moving up or down.
Well, that explains why we couldn't get through the normal way.
As the other Kasrkins caught their breath and checked their gear, Private Prowse approached an instruments panel. He slapped his fist against the corners of the steel-doored panel, which revealed a console. Grabbing his diagnostics tool, he hooked into the local network, scrolling for the information of the subsection.
Says we're 40 floors from the bottom. Should take 7 minutes to descend. Maybe less, but double if we're going back up.
Long way down.
Dale gazed at the pit. He thought for a moment. Then a gurgling noise was heard at the back of his throat. Private Rolfin, the sergeant, stared at the Bullgryn. Dale then spat into the abyss.
I hope we don't slip on that when we get down there, Dale.
Dale looked away out of embarrassment, then chiming in.
Needed to make sure.
Rolf shook his head, regrouping with the rest of the squad.
10th, ready for descent.
And thus concludes Part 3 of Dale the Bullgryn. Thank you for watching this week's episode. I really appreciate the support I've gotten on the series so far. We're actually nearing about 200 subscribers at the time of recording. I apologize if this episode was a little bit late. It was due to packaging errors, if you don't mind. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next part. See ya.